Hi guys, so today I'm gonna continue reading Journey to the Center of Earth. Last time I read you chapter 18, so I'm gonna do it on chapter 19 today. Chapter 19, Dead End. After many hours of walking, I came to a dead end. I forced myself not to give up hope. Retracing my step, I tried another way, but eventually it came to another dead end. Panic stirred within me, making me careless as I rushed to find a better path. I stumbled and fell. Pain exploded my leg as I struck the rock. I could barely keep conscious. I tried to make myself uncomfortable on the hard rock, but after a few hours I still couldn't put my weight on the leg. I finished the final ration of food in my bag. Then I decided to write this account of our journey. My light will not last long, and I will be alone in the dark. I wish only that I could be sure my companions are safe, that could see Groban's smiling face again. I did not die. My headlamps did indeed go out. With no way of measuring the passing of time, I do not know how long I sat alone in the darkness. My despair was as complete as the blackness around me. But I heard sing the take of crack to a rifle. Oh, Uncle! I shouted at the top of my voice. Groban, Hans! The silence seemed to mock my hope. I knew that a rifle shot could carry much further than the loudest shout. However, I did not give up. I counted for a minute, then I shouted again. I repeated this over and over. My voice was hoarse, but this was my only chance. And then at last I heard a faint cry. Axel! It was my uncle's voice. Help! I shouted. The next reply was little louder. They were coming closer. We carried on this for long time, with them getting near and near. Where are you, Axel? The tunnels. Its voice. Their voices were coming to me from a sinkhole a little further backward down my tunnel. With great effort I dragged myself toward it, forcing myself to ignore the pain on my leg and my weakness from lack of food. I realized how lucky I had been how lucky I have been instead of taking me away from the underground sea. This tunnel had led another stretch shore. The holes in front of me now led in front of me on the in front of me now black led back down. Its shape meant that it carried sound from below and amplified into the tunnel. It had allowed us to hear each other. Finally, I heard my companion's voice much more. Can you move? Shouted my uncle. Follow my voice. Feeling my way into the blackness, I started to crawl. The slope down was steep, but became steeper. But soon I could see a dim light with one last effort, hauled myself forward toward it, fell into Hans's waiting arm. My companion's smiling face were greatest sight I'd ever seen. Chapter 21 A.S. After some food and water, I was feeling much better. I learned what to have after the storm. The others had managed to stay on the raft. After they came ashore, they had counted I was dead. They had explored the shore further, looking now for a way home, when a group of gigantic human-like creatures threatened them. Hans had shot the rifle into his arm to scare them. This had saved me. Hans made a scratch for me, and I will soon be able to walk. I was still practicing this when Groban came running back this nearby cliff. Come and see, she shouted. By the time I joined the others, they were near another tunnel, looking by a rock beside the entrance. 2 letters had been carved into it. A.S. Our Sakaum says, Gatsman, he come this way. It was hard to believe that we were still following the Icelandic explorer's route. Lighting our last headlamps were adventure into the tunnel. We didn't get far before we came to a huge boulder. My uncle studied the boulder. It must have fallen here after Skilnam's journey. We looked at each other. We were journeying at the end. No, after all we have been through, I wasn't going to turn back. We've still got the explosives, aren't we? I asked. We will blow this boulder out of the way. No one said anything, but Hans was grinning from ears to ear. Boom! Chapter 22. Boom! We dug a hole big enough for our entire stock of gunpowder. Then Hans ran along the fuse back to the shore. The water came closer to the cliff here, and so we agreed that the safest place would be back on the raft, which Hans had rebuilt. Hans lit the fuse and the safest place had rebuilt. Hans lit the fuse and joined us on the water. We watched the small light from fuse near the tunnel. What if it doesn't work? Groban asked. I had other worries. Looking back to the sea, I was sure I had seen big dark shape coming near. It was Sisyphus' back. The next few seconds were near unbearable. The shape of the water loomed closer and closer. Then suddenly, boom! A deafening explosion tore through the air as gunpowder ignited. Our raft was pushed back, but then the water began to rush forward, carving along the tunnel with the boulder out of the way. We were swept down into the raft. We clung to the raft mast in the terror, listening the roar of the water as we fell further and further down. It was a miracle our raft didn't smash to pieces against the side. Then an amazing thing happened. We were going up, Groban shouted. Hans turned on his headlamp, and it was true. We were a narrow shaft. We were going up. The sea reached the bottom of the pit, my uncle explained. Now it's going back up, and us with it. The thing was clear. I was getting hotter and hotter. The water on the raft was boiling. We were moving upward at incredible speed now. It came harder harder to breathe because the air was full of steam, and then smoke. Looking over a side, that I saw I saw breeze because the air was full of steam and smoke. Looking overside, I saw it was no longer water beneath us, but lava. We were going to die, cried Graben. I held her hand tightly and waited for the worst. But then, high above us, I saw a tiny circle of light. We were moving toward the light. Suddenly, I understood. Chapter 23. Inside the volcano. We were inside a volcano, shouted my uncle above the din. It's taking his back to the surface, but how are we going to survive if we were blasted out of the volcano? There's nothing we could do now except hold tight to a raft spun round and round. The blistering air stuns our ears and burnt our lungs and as we tried to breathe. Then suddenly there was a bright light around us and rush of cool air. And then we were falling. This is the end, I thought, and I closed my eyes. Chapter 24. Our journey end. I awoke sunshine. My companions were unharmed too. Again, we had cheated death. Sitting up slowly, I found I was on a slab of volcano, but this place looked very different from Iceland. It was warmer with olive grove and grape vines. Later I later learned that were Stromboli and Iceland of the coast Sicily. We had entered Earth by a volcano came out another silent mile away. As he laughed, hands and was making more noise than I never heard of it from him. My uncle joined it in. I knew the professor could not wait to report the findings to the world. As we walked down the mountain, we met a local boy. I knew we must sight walking down from the volcano. No, this lad said something in Italian, and my uncle replied in the same language. What did you say? I asked. He wanted to know where we came from, answered the professor with a proud smile. So I told him we have came from the center of Earth. So that was it. I finished the book Journey to the Center of Earth. But if you want to listen more, in next week I will read another book.